Welcome back to the WatchGecko channel and another episode of Your Next Watch. Today we're looking at a watch that really does epitomise NOMOS and everything they stand for, from their strength in design to their quality and attention to detail. Rolex have the Submariner, Audemars Piguet have the Royal Oak, Omega have the Speedmaster, and NOMOS, well, they have the Tangente. You may remember the Tangente Sport 580 we looked at last year. Well, strip back a few of the tool watch features and you're left with a really elegant, modern looking watch. Although the Tangente has been on the scene since 1993 in some form, the model we have with us today is actually still in its infancy, being only a few months old. Introduced in the early 90s, the Tangente was one of the first models the brand released. It, of course, became a success and was revered as a hit. Most Tangente models you'll see will be sporting a clean white dial with heat blued hands. However, in 27 years, the Tangente has been subject to limited editions, special versions, and fresh tweaks to design. Which brings us to December 2019 and the 167. On the surface, this release is a midnight blue version of the ever-popular Tangente. However, there is more than meets the eye. This Tangente represents something we do not often see in a non-limited edition release, from a brand that favours tweaking rather than overhauling models. The 167 comes in at 37.5mm wide, with a lug-to-lug measurement of 47.5mm and a thickness just a hair under 7mm. Naturally, when you put this watch on the wrist, those stats translate incredibly well. NOMOS are known for creating watches with long lugs. However, the Tangente is different, taking this one step further. Watches like the Ludwig, Orion and Club are all models with angular lug design, but the Tangente opts for two angles, with an emphasis on hugging the wrist more. This is a design that is also mirrored on the underside as well, so whether it actually hugs your wrist or not, it gives the illusion that it does. A great touch from NOMOS that shows they're extremely aware of the end consumer. The most noticeable non-NOMOS feature of this watch is the dial colour. You probably know NOMOS as the silver dial Bauhaus brand. However, the new 167 prefers a midnight blue shade. Complementing that deep blue dial are silver coloured printed numerals and rhodium plated hands. The outcome? Well, it's a combination that's incredibly clean and cohesive. Protecting the dial is a flat sapphire crystal, and the display caseback gets the same sapphire treatment. And through that display caseback, we get a great look at the alpha manual wind movement, which, as you'd expect from NOMOS, has beautiful architecture finished in a superior level compared to watches of this price point. Unfortunately, we cannot speak for the performance of this watch, as the model we have with us today is actually a press sample, so the hands are fixed. However, there is a reason this movement is called alpha, as it was the first creation the brand was able to put its name to, so we have no doubts the movement performs as good as it looks. As always when spending time with NOMOS, I thoroughly enjoyed wearing the Tangente 167. In an industry that feels dominated by stainless steel sports watches at the moment, you can't help but admire the Tangente. This is a model that offers great value and importance to the brand, as well as German watchmaking as an entity. It only helps the watch that it happens to possess a really unique personality as well. For a simple watch, the 167 really doesn't take itself too seriously. This is where the model really starts to forge its own path in the lineup. For such an iconic model, the use of a midnight blue colour alters our perception of NOMOS, adding a more subtle flair. The 167 prefers to make itself quietly heard. For the purpose and style of the watch, the dimensions of the 167 are simply fantastic. When we talked about the 731 last year, the thickness was incredibly impressive at 8.4mm. However, this Tangente is just 7mm. Just for some context, that's thinner than your iPhone you're probably watching this on right now. In fact, the watch is so thin, it actually results in the strap looking too thick for the watch. As always, NOMOS stand head and shoulders above the competition with their straps. It's common knowledge by now that the standard strap your watch normally comes on is commonly subpar. Not with NOMOS. Out of the watches we spent some time with recently, NOMOS sit in line with brands like Zenith and Tudor for their strap quality. Don't worry though, we still have some strap suggestions for you. The 167 is 19mm wide at the lugs, which commonly can be a bit of a pain. However, our odd size range here at WatchGecko continues to expand. There are plenty of options for watches with odd lugs, so let's take a look at a few of those now. If you're a regular on our NOMOS reviews, you'll know how great mesh straps look on the Bauhaus aesthetic. Here the classic mesh and polish really picks up on the polished hands that love to play with the light on the 167. If you're looking to dress up a NOMOS, or any clean time-only watch for that matter, you'll want to go for a mesh in your collection. The addition of blue on this Tangente makes it perfect for a little bit of contrast. And what better colour to go for than orange? The 167 is clearly a modern watch, so although softer brown leather straps work really well, it's these brighter, more bold options that really make the watch pop. We also really love the inclusion of white stitching here. When the light is on the polished surfaces of the watch, the stitching really makes sense and comes into its own. This really helps turn this subtle piece into much more of a showstopper with the Besford. And finally, we have a distressed brown Painswick. Remember when we just mentioned about soft brown leather straps? Well, this is one of them. Now although this watch clearly suits a polished, perfect-like strap look, the touch of distressing this version of the Painswick offers really adds a different dynamic and feel to the watch. Because the watch is 7mm thick, finding thin straps that really suit the watch can be tricky. However, the Painswick's slender mould gets the watch and strap thickness ratio just right. As always, there are a few things on the 167 that are worth noting about, as they might not quite hit the mark for you. First up, legibility. Now, although the hands on the 167 are fully polished, when paired with a dark midnight blue dial, they do spend a lot of the time dark if the light is even slightly low. And finally, the strap choice. Now, don't get me wrong, the strap on this NOMOS is genuinely amazing. It's comfortable, stylish, the perfect colour for a quality that rivals 90% of standard straps, but it's just too thick. The strap is around 3.3mm, which is close to half of the thickness of a watch itself. So you might be left thinking, well, who is this Tangente for? Well, if you're a NOMOS collector and converted fan, then the more classic, textbook NOMOS models with their silver dials and blued hands might be more your cup of tea. For me, I think the 167 is ideal for those who are looking to dip their toe into the world of NOMOS in a way that doesn't really throw them into the deep end straight away. NOMOS have really mastered the art of subtlety with this one, honouring a very important watch to the brand in a super stylish and sleek way. As always is the case with NOMOS, the watch per pound ratio is phenomenal. And if you want to save a few pennies as well, you can actually sweeten the deal by going for the solid caseback reference. The 167 we have with us today comes in at £1,840, however the 166 version with the solid caseback comes in at £1,620. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank NOMOS for sending this watch out to us for review, and if you're interested in learning more about the watch or any other offerings from NOMOS, we'll leave a link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.